trying to do this video a very long time. Why I support the Assyrian Democratic Movement and defending it against false accusations. I'm not going to talk too much about the history and the ideology because you guys could Google that. Read up on the history of the Syrian Democratic Movement, what they've done. Every nation, every people, at some point in their history, needs a movement that revives the nation, brings back hope and heritage. The Syrian Democratic Movement is not just a political party, it's literally a movement. Zowaa means movement. There is no other organization or political party, none that have done what the Syrian Democratic Movement has. Zowaa is only 32 years old. With the limited time, limited manpower, limited resources, they have accomplished a lot. Zowaa needs its people to criticize it. We need you guys to hold us accountable. But make sure your claims are somewhat based on reality and logic. Look at other national movements, Jewish Zionists, Irish IRA. They all started with unity, strong ideologies, and the willing to sacrifice. Throughout the 80s, Zowaa had joined the armed struggle with the Peshmerga, fought side by the Kurds against Saddam's Ba'athi regime. When the American government put up a no-fly zone in northern Iraq, when the Kurds got their regional government, throughout the 90s, Zowaa was prospering and growing. Zowaa started to grow so much that it started other organizations like the Assyrian Aid Society, humanitarian efforts, Chaldean Student Union, women's organization. President Bush even formally recognized the Assyrian Democratic Movement as one of the parties who stood against Saddam. That's kind of a big deal. I mean, Zowaa has done so much at a grassroots level that is a building block, a foundation for our future. Let me just answer a few accusations thrown at the ADM. Zowaa is against the Assyrian Church of the East. Zowaa has clearly never been against any of our churches. I'm not even going to answer that. I'm not even going to waste my time. The backbone of the Assyrian schools in Iraq are funded, supported, books translated by the Assyrian Democratic Movement and the Assyrian Aid Society. When you're donating to any organization, make sure that organization is transparent. Make sure you hold accountable and ask, what are you doing with our money? On the Syrian Aid Society website, you should be able to see exactly what they do with the money. From building dormitories, from getting kids to school on buses, translating books. It has paid for daycares, athletic clubs, women's unions, students' organizations. It's all there. Cultural centers, libraries. This is what I mean by grassroots movement. Building a strong cornerstone, a foundation that your people could prosper, educate themselves for the future. So when people ask, what has Zowaa done? What are the accomplishments? Why don't we have a country? I'm just like, what? First of all, I want Assyrians to really think about who we are surrounded by. How hard it is to gain any political rights. The first elections in the Kurdistan regional government, the Assyrian Democratic Movement took 54% of the votes. Mind you, there were 3 other parties running, and the Assyrian Democratic Movement took more than half of those votes. Even today, everybody in Iraq knows who the truly independent party of Assyrians are. Zowaa. Period. People say, well, why did Zowaa create the Chaldo-Assyrian Syriac name? That will cause more division. Why did Zowaa do that? First of all, Zowaa did not create that compound title. It was created by Akhabotros 100 years ago. And it was a political strategy. It was a strategy to unite our people, with all our different historical names, to bring our people into one nation. And I believe it worked, relatively. Why did Zowaa dismantle its militia in 2003? Because both the Iraqi and American governments forced us to? People say Zowaa are hypocrites because they've worked with Kurds, yet they attack anybody and label them traitors if they work with the Kurds. There's a difference between working with someone and working for someone. These political parties work for the KDP. So why does Zowaa have members in the Kurdish parliament? Aren't you working for the Kurds? No, we are working within the Kurdish government to gain political nationalistic rights. We are not working for a Kurdish agenda. They say Rabbi Yonadam Kenna rejected a Christian region for Assyrians. He said we did not want a safe haven. Yeah, I agree with him. Zowaa is trying to promote secularism, is trying to separate church and state. This is why exactly the Middle East is in its problems, because of religious governments. Christian land would just invite more extremists and Islamists to attack us. It wouldn't last one day. I encourage all you to read Michael Uesh's article, American University International Law Review. He does a great job pointing out these facts. Dr. Elda Benjamin writes an article in Academia called Assyrians in Iraq's Nineveh Plains. I highly encourage you guys to read that. They both talk about different human rights watch organizations that are exposing the Kurdish regional government as oppressors and undermining Assyrians. I want to keep this video short, but I want people to do their own research. Look into these issues. This is our last stand. We need our people to support the Assyrian Aid Society, to support Zowaa, to support the Nineveh Plains Protection Unit, NPU. If you're donating to these organizations, make sure you believe in them. And make sure you hold them accountable. Make sure they're transparent. Show us what you've done. At the same time, make sure your standards are somewhat realistic. Some people want Zowaa to work miracles. Relax. Assyrians need to learn the art of debate. I challenge anyone to a public debate. Let's lay down the facts. And the idea that Zowaa works for the party more than it does for the nation. Zowaa holds up the Zowaa flag more than the Assyrian flag. What? It is impossible for a political party to put its party above its nation. It just makes no sense. Do Democrats and Republicans not have their own symbol? Does the Marines and the Army not have their own flags? What are you think a little, please. These no offense, but these are simple-minded claims, accusations. Why you hold the Zowaa flag up? Are you serious? You have nothing else to say? We need to support our independent parties and militias. Support Zowaa, support the NPU. Donate. Do your own research, think deeply, ask questions. Khaya Zowaa, Khaya Atar.